All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hangout. This is in preparation for Hack Day at the HP Big Data Conference coming up on Monday, August 10th, early in the morning. We're doing the Hangouts all week long to introduce you to the various technologies that you'll need on site, not only for that main challenge, but also the sponsored challenges where you'll get introduced to HP Haven OnDemand, Vertica, as well as the HP Helium technologies. So we're pretty excited. We'll go ahead and give you a few tips. So Hack Day coming up, like we said, pack your bags. You'll need to be in Boston on Monday, but then the conference is going on all week, the 10th through the 13th, so be sure to check that out. One great thing that you'll be able to access as well, as your coding heads down on Monday, watch out for our social media team. They'll be doing interviews as well as pictures and videos. We want to get to know the technology that you guys are using, your ideas, and what you're interested in going forward for cloud computing.
And don't be shy to take photos, get a picture of your team, use the hashtag HP Helium.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to turn it over to Martin, another technical expert who's going to introduce you to HP Haven OnDemand and all of the unstructured big data analytics that you can use for the challenge.
Take it away, Martin.
All right, sure. So let me just share my screen. Hey, guys. Right. All right, so before I get started with the presentation, maybe I'll start, mentioning what Haven OnDemand is. And Haven OnDemand actually right now is being rebranded, so the website is still called IDOL OnDemand. So I'd just like to clarify that from the start. So the APIs are available on idolondemand.com, and those are the APIs that will be part of the challenge. So just kind of like a note, if I'm referring to IDOL OnDemand, that is what I mean. So just to kind of get started then, I'll first give an overview of what you can do with the IDOL OnDemand or Haven OnDemand APIs, and then we'll get to showcase how you would be coding it, what tools you would have readily available on the day of the Hack Day, and how you can really save time and compete for the top prize. Right. So. I don't know if you guys went to the previous Hangouts, but just to kind of summarize, Haven encapsulates a set of technology. The first Hangout was about Vertica. Vertica is HP's kind of big data platform. It's a column-oriented database that lets you do very large analytics on very large data sets. And there was also a hangout on HP Helium, which is HP's DevOps cloud deployment platform. So this will be about Haven OnDemand, which is the cloud offering. Which is part of the cloud offering, and is a set of APIs, as I'll be demonstrating in a second. So most of the APIs on idolondemand.com deal with unstructured data or human data. So what is unstructured data? That's the data that is not categorized in a table. So like social media data, like data that's written by humans every day, emails, photos taken, scans of your documents that you work with every day, such as your Word documents, your Excel sheets, your emails, the documents on your SharePoint. So there's a lot of that data, and it's often underused, underanalyzed, because not only is that data large in size, but it's also hard to process and hard to deal with. You'll have it in your Dropbox, you'll have it on Twitter, you'll have it in your Gmail, right? Most of the time, the only thing you're doing is using the Gmail search functionality to find your stuff, using your Outlook search functionality, going on Twitter, looking at your newsfeed, but you're not actually getting all of the insights from all of that information. So what we want to actually extract information and deliver insights from that data in all of its shapes. All right, so that data comes in documents. It comes as JSON and XML from APIs. It comes as text. It could be data in your database. text fields that you're not really using, because everybody knows that as soon as you start dealing with text in SQL, you probably won't get far. Could be your scans, recordings, or your videos, often just sitting there in folders. So what can IDOL OnDemand do to help you deal with that information? So the first thing that you can do, and all of these functionalities are going to map to specific APIs. So as I'll show you in a second, you can extract information from a document. Let's say I've got a Word document. I can get the metadata, and I can get the content. Let's say I got a video or a recording. I can use the speech-to-text API, and it will give me the text for what is being said in the video. It would extract that from the video. If I've got a picture or a scan, I can use the OCR text extraction API to extract the text from that image. There are other APIs that help you do this even quicker, such as connectors. For example, a file system connector that you can just download and run on your computer, and it will index and analyze all of the files on the folder or of the file system that you pointed to. The HTTP connector will do the same thing for a website that you pointed to. So once you've actually got the data extracted, what you want to do is actually extract insights from that data. The first thing you can do is you can identify things such as people names, places, or even just the language of your document. So that can really help you add metadata quickly to your document, so that you can not only categorize it, but you can actually start analyzing in better ways. Once you have the language, what you can do is do sentiment analysis in that correct language. So is my sentence or my tweet positive? Is that negative? How do I feel about this specific topic, and how do other people feel maybe about my company or things like that. And another thing we can do is classify it. We can actually look at the context and the concepts within my information to actually classify and categorize my information based on what's actually being talked about. So just to kind of summarize what the APIs this would map to, we have a language detection API. You would pass it text or documents, and it would pretty much deliver you the language that is in the document. We have a sentiment analysis API that analyzes text and delivers positive and negative sentences, as well as an aggregate score for the entire document. And you can extract entities, such as people, names, places. So that is the entity extraction API. And I'll take you through those on the website straight after this. So those APIs I was talking about really help to add structure to unstructured data. But sometimes you're not looking to add structures. You're actually looking to search through the information, and you're looking to kind of group the information together, to categorize it in clusters of documents based on what they're discussing. So we can index the information kind of like you would index rows into a database, except that here we're indexing text and documents into the IDOL OnDemand database. So indexing the information allows you to understand and analyze the information. So let's say if I search for Harry in the news, and this little UI is actually available on GitHub, and you can deploy it very quickly, and I'll show you how you can do that as well. But if I search for Harry in the news, am I searching for Harry? Harry can refer to many topics. And as we look on the left-hand side here, rather than actually reading through all these articles that we're searching for, we identify that Harry comes up in different contexts, right? So there's Harry Potter in the Wizarding World of Orlando context. There's Harry Potter in terms of fans celebrating the characters from the books. There's Harry Potter, there's Harry Reid, the senator, and sometimes this is live data, but sometimes you get data about Prince Harry or things like that. Another example, if I'm searching for chips, and I'm going to change the dataset to Wikipedia here. So chips can mean many things, but we instantly identify that in our dataset, chips are found in different contexts. So we have potato chips, circuits, blue chip, chocolate chips, enhancement chips. So really quickly getting to understand, in what context we can find this query term. So this is doing a lot more than searching. If I wanted to actually categorize all of the documents about potato chips, now I realize that I can't just search for chips. I would have to search for potato chips. But that might not give me all the documents, and maybe I want to also search for tortilla chips if I am interested in that as well. So quickly, I've now created this kind of search query that's giving me all of the potato chips and all of the tortilla chips documents. This is just a visualization that could be used on top of the API that's delivering these different sentences. So you could easily visualize that in my data set, some documents are about Harry Potter and some documents are about Prince Harry. Not only can you identify concepts in your data, you can also link documents together. Let's say you've got an article about Ebola and Obama. You can use the Find Similar API to find all the documents that are similar to that document that you started with. So you can find documents that are similar based on the entirety of the content. If I was doing this on Google, I'd probably search for the title, but then I'm only finding documents similar to the title. And if I try to copy-paste the entire article, I probably won't get any results because that's not how Google works. But if I've indexed a bunch of news articles and I'm into IDOL OnDemand and I'm using the Find Similar API, it will identify documents similar to the entirety of the content. So it will identify the top terms and find other documents that are as similar as possible to my document. So that's really great when delivering recommendations, for example. So this is where I give you maybe some ideas of what you could actually deliver in the hackathon, or things that have been done in the past. Somebody came to me one time with a problem, and they said, every time I've got a meeting, but then I never have the files, for that meeting. I want to attach all of the relevant files, the PowerPoints, the documents, or the other relevant emails to my meeting. But it's a pain to actually search for them. Let's say you've got a meeting on Harry Potter, you're going to have to search and find all of your PowerPoints about Harry Potter, and often that's not easy to do. So what you can actually achieve with IDOL OnDemand is that you can index all of your documents and index all your calendar events, so that for every calendar event, it would automatically recommend all of the files that you'll need based on the calendar event description, for example. So really quickly giving you the documents that you need without you needing to go search for it. IDOL OnDemand can index PSTs. So if you've got a massive email archive, you could quickly index that, and then you could identify topics within your emails. What kind of topics do you mostly talk about? When you're talking to your boss, what topics come up more often, and you can categorize your emails accordingly. You can also use the image text and speech text APIs to, for example, digitize presentations and lectures, and provide recommendations of other lectures that are similar in concept. So all of that information is available on idolondemand.com, and as I click right now, we're going to be on the website, and I'll show you the APIs page. Many of these APIs I just talked about. So I didn't talk about all of the functionalities of IDOL OnDemand because there are so many, but what I talked about should give you a good idea of what you can actually achieve with the IDOL OnDemand APIs. So just to start simple, I'll show you how you can do, for example, sentiment analysis. So every API has got documentation and examples, but it's also got a try it tab. This allows you to try your own content. So if I want to search for the sentiment for, I like cats in English, or if I want to do it in French, same thing. It's telling me that my sentence is positive, and the topic is cats. So that's just a quick example of how I would use the sentiment analysis API. I need to pass the text parameter, and I need to pass the language parameter. And you get an example here as a call request that I can quickly try it here in my terminal. And it's giving me the same results that I got in the try it. So this is how I would use it in my code if I was using curl requests, and if I was using another language, it would be as simple as sending this call and parsing the JSON. We have a lot of examples in the community showing you how to use different languages. So if you go in the community section and the wiki section of the community, if you wanted to find out how to do it in Ruby, we have code samples there for you to quickly get started. I'll go back to the APIs page. For example, for speech to text, you have examples ready for you to use, or you could pass in your data, and it's actually showing you what the output would be, so that you can quickly get your code ready without having to do too much coding, or quickly test the APIs. Just to kind of summarize the resources that you have available at your fingertips, since this might be the most important slide in terms of the links that you'll need during the hackathon. So idolondemand.com, of course, for the APIs, community.idolondemand.com, which is accessible through idolondemand.com. We'll have blog posts, tutorials, code samples. GitHub.com/HP IDOL OnDemand has got some client libraries. So if you wanted to use Node.js, for example, you can quickly install this client library and get started calling the APIs. It's got documentation, examples, and really should get you started very quickly. Same thing for Ruby or Python. So this is also something you probably want to have in mind when you actually take part in the hack day. And I've got an alternate documentation website, which is a github.io website. So lemoogle.github.io/slatedocs. And those contain examples in various languages showing you how to call certain APIs. So let's say I'm doing analysis here, as we discussed before. It's showing me how I can do a GET request, a POST request, how I can post a file to the API in using curl, how I can do the same thing using Ruby, Python, or JavaScript. So really quickly getting to the code that you need without having to think, which library am I going to use, which how do I send a POST request, how do I send a multi-part form post to send the files. So that's another link you may want to have for the hack day, as it will quickly get you to where you need to go. So those are the main links. Oops, I've got two slides of the same thing. These slides are also available on slides.com/martinzerbib/iod-hangout, and that way you will have quick access to these links. So that's slides.com/martinzerbib, that's me, /iod-hangout. So what I want to do now, I want to show you a quick example to kind of visualize how you would use these APIs. I'll refresh this page, and then show you how these map to the APIs on the idolondemand.com platform. So this is a little kind of demo where we ask people a question: what do you think about cats? And we let them talk, and it provides them with, it tells them the sentiment, and then it, provides them with other comments about cats which are similar to theirs. So let me try this, and I don't know how good my accent works with the speech to text, but let's try this. Cats are so evil. I really hate cats. They're evil. I don't actually hate cats, guys. So what this does is it uses the speech recognition API to, let me just check it. All right. So it's using the speech recognition API to tell me that my sentiment is negative about cats, and then it's finding other negative comments about cats which are similar to what I've been talking about. So if I'd said, dogs, then it would give me, I hate dogs. It would give me other negative comments about dogs, for example. Here it's about hate. But this is kind of giving me, oh, there's other people that feel the same way as you. So just to go back to which APIs are used, right? And I'll go through a little bit of the code. So whenever I receive an audio message, I've got this receive audio message function. First I write the file, but I can use the recognize speech API, which is the API that I showed you just before, which extracts the text from audio file. That API will give me the text from my speech, and then what I want to do is process that text. So I first want to get the sentiment. So to get the sentiment, I am calling the sentiment analysis API, the analyze sentiment API. It's as simple as passing the text and my API key. Once I've got that sentiment, I can get recommendations. So these recommendations are using the find similar API. And here, I'm not only getting similar recommendations, I'm also matching on the sentiment. I'm making sure that I'm only getting other comments that feel the same way as I do. So if I'm really negative about cats, I'm getting other comments about cats that are also negative and are also similar to what I've just said. So if I said cats are evil, maybe I find other people calling cats evil. And once I've done that, I'm also adding my comments to the index, so that if somebody else comes along and says something similar to what I've just said, they will see my comment being recommended to them as oh, there's other people that feel the same way. So I'm using the add to text index API, which is the same as doing an insert in an SQL database, for example, except I'm passing it JSON, a JSON document. So even easier that using SQL, as well as the index, which is the table that I want to insert into in SQL terms. So just to go back to it, we did speech recognition to get the text from audio. We did sentiment analysis to get the sentiment. We did find similar to find other similar documents. And if I do it right now, you can also, what I'm doing in my code, you can do it directly from the try it functionality. So from my confessions index, if I say I hate cats, I am finding other comments which are relevant to hating cats. So as simple as passing a text parameter and my index parameter, as well as my API key to this API, I've got recommendations of similar comments about cats. Right, so just a quick example of how you could combine some of the APIs to create a little demo. The code is not available on GitHub right now because I changed it a lot and I need to test some of it. But it will be before the hack day if you want to use some of that code and get started. It will be available on github.com/HP IDOL OnDemand, which has a set of examples, Google Glass examples, JavaScript, and a bunch of other examples to quickly get you started. So that was about it. I haven't covered half of the functionality of the IDOL OnDemand or Haven OnDemand platform, but hopefully this gave you an idea of what you can actually achieve with the APIs, how you can call the APIs, how you would get the information that you need to call these APIs. So I'd say get the link to the slides and make sure to check out all of these links right there to kind of review the information that we discussed and get some ideas for the hack day.
Perfect.
Thank you, Martin.
Thanks, Martin. That was super great, super helpful.
Very informative.
Though I do love cats, so I'm more of a positive
Yeah.
no.
I didn't mean to be so hateful about the cats right now, but it's
cats are good. So what we'll do is make sure that everyone viewing right now, as well as all of the participants that are registered for Hack Day, have access to all of those links and the resources you provided in your presentation. So over the weekend, if people are in flight, they'll be able to kind of review. And of course, Martin, you did provide all of your contact details. So if there are any questions from the audience, please go ahead and ask now. Otherwise, follow up via email, or Martin and Jen will be on site during Hack Day. So you'll look out for Martin, of course.
If you have any questions, feel free to just email me, jen.pan@hp.com. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. I think that's all for now. And Martin, any additional questions, sign off you'd like to leave the audience with?
No, that's it for me. If anyone has any questions, but yeah, just check out the slide link. Check out the links in the resources section, and make sure to get your skills ready for the Hack Day.
Yep. It'll be a great time. So we're excited, and we will see you all on Monday. All right. Thank you.